Still nothing.
Well, they'll be able to hear it just in the future, right?
That is true. So technically, we're broadcasting to
We're totally live right now. Hi.
What's up?
Hello.
And we're live on Twitch.
Yeah, we're actually live.
On YouTube too? And we are.
Sure.
Yeah, we are. Perfect. I'm closing both those windows. You're in charge of those now. Hello. Let's take the picture down so they can see us. Hi, everyone.
Oh.
Hi.
They see us now. Oh.
It's weird because I am watching the Twitch stream like everybody else, so nothing's happened yet.
Yeah, well, that's what. Make sure you mute it, or it'll scramble your
brain.
brain.
I've gotten that part. I've gotten that far with Twitch.
Yeah, that's the way I've got it. Like, because we're set up for the stream on the weekend, like, so it's all different. So now the camera is really low. So when I'm looking at the camera, I can't see anything that's happening on a computer. Like,
it's all in a different.
I have to look like up really high, or it's perfect.
People are hearing audio. People are seeing us. Rathan's here to harass us.
Perfect.
I mean, it's great. We're good. We're good to get going. This is great.
Kick it off, Sarah.
Oh, I am? Okay.
It's your show.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the GlitchFeed podcast, where we are having a very special podcast in celebration of one of our favorite games. And as you see, we have a special guest who's right above me if we're pretending we're in the Brady Bunch.
Oh, perfect. I can... Yeah, everybody's down. Okay.
Great. Yeah, you are above all of us. That is the totem pole we've created. Zeke, a.k.a. Dinohedron, one of the main guys over at the Brawlhalla team, the devs, has come to join us to talk about the game.
Yeah, sure, or whatever else, whatever else you want to talk about. Look at that, I'm pointing down now. Yeah, I'm doing it.
Yeah, there. Don't hit me, please. It's okay. Did you guys have another drumstick today? We'll start off with the heavy questions.
No, drumsticks are like a rare occasion. They're for a really special moment. So you don't just do like drumsticks back-to-back day drumsticks. Then they're not special anymore.
He's got a very good point. They're treats. They're treats.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. Well,
so we're actually playing Brawlhalla as well. You're watching the stream, so that's good. So if you do want to join in, the room code is at the top, and we'll be playing games while we talk, which will go great because I can't even focus.
I'm so bad
trust
about
me,
this.
It's really easy. You've got nothing to worry about.
All right. Well, I guess we'll start with the easy question. Something big happened this week.
Yeah.
With the game, something happened.
Yep, Open beta happened finally after a really good closed beta run. It was finally time for us to open the gates to everybody. We kind of hit the servers one last time to make sure they were nice and in place and strong for the big floodgate of people coming in, and now anybody can get in just by hitting the button. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and you saw, I think, a huge spike in actual membership and gameplay too. I think you've already hit like your all-time top concurrent players within a couple days even.
Well, we just it's been 3 days in a row beating our top concurrency. So on Tuesday that was the most players we've ever seen, and then again on Wednesday we had even more players than we had on Tuesday, and more today. And by all things that we've seen before, Friday will be even bigger. And then we'll see what the weekend does.
That's awesome. So, and you guys have been in closed beta for how long? When did you launch closed beta, I guess?
We launched closed beta November last year, so it's been about a year. And we were in a very tight alpha before then. Mm-hmm. But that was only 4 months, 6 months, something like that.
Okay.
So yeah, about a year of closed beta where you either had to sign up to get a code, or you could be part of the founders program to get in right away. And the whole reason we did closed beta was we knew we needed the community's help. This community is going to be who ultimately makes this game successful. So we needed their help to figure out what was good, what wasn't good, what we needed to change before we kind of let everybody come in.
Right, and
it's kind of a really long closed beta, but you've definitely, I'm sure, taken a lot of feedback from the community. It is, you're right. The community is going to make the game. I guess my main question is, what was something that really, like, you didn't expect to see from development, but the community's feedback really kind of opened your eyes?
So we had the biggest thing that we had was probably when we were in alpha, and this is when we just first debuted the game. and it's pretty easy to see how big of a change it is when I talk about it. Originally, we kind of thought about the weapons as the characters themselves.
Okay.
And so what your avatar was didn't really impact what you were doing, like how you played. All characters could use all weapons in the game.
Oh, interesting.
And you would kind of like, you would sort of build out almost like your kit. Like, you had a little crate that you would unlock slots for, and it would be like, okay, your crate is going to start with a sword, a hammer, you know, a lance, a rocket lance, and when you pick something up, it's going to be one of those items, and then when you pick the next thing up, it'll cycle to the next one, and so you kind of were affecting what your chances were to get something.
Yeah, that's totally different than
Totally
what you guys
different.
have now.
And it was sort of, it wasn't character based then, right? It was you could get hats and different chest pieces and different leg pieces and kind of construct what your character looked like because it was all based on the weapons.
That's really interesting because like hearing people complain about it, and this isn't even that bit of a complaint. They're like, you know, it feels too boring because all the characters are the same, but really that's not the case anymore. Like all the characters have their own thing. Yeah,
that was like that was the biggest feedback, was that the characters were sort of they were incidental and people didn't really latch onto the weapons. We loved it. We loved the weapons. We played it and we were like, yeah, this is it. And then we started showing it to other people and they were kind of like, really? And so we sat down and we thought about it, and it was a huge change. It took us a long time to kind of come to what we could sort of change it into to get what they wanted. And so that's when we hit, okay, each character can use 2 weapons and their combination is unique and they have special moves with those weapons. And now it's character based. It's not avatar based. Each character is its own entity. And so that's where we started going down the road of coming up with, Bodvar and Bryn and Taros and Nash and fleshing out what those feel like. So I mean, it's kind of weird to think about it now. Back when we started Alpha, that there wasn't a Bodvar.
Wow. So that kind of brings in my question too, I guess, is like the evolution of Brawlhalla to what it is today. So clearly there was like you said, there was a much different thing, but kind of how did the team sit down in the beginning and just sit there and kind of prep? Like, what were your main thoughts as a group, the founders of Brawlhalla, and how did that evolve as you started going through these phases of Alpha, closed beta, and now open beta?
Yeah. So it originally started, the first game that Blue Mammoth made was called Dungeon Blitz. It was a 2D side-scrolling MMO, had full functioning MMO features, and big persistent world, super fun. But when it was built, the team knew that they could only do PvE or PvP. They couldn't do both at once. It was too big. So they did PvE, and then started going back and saying, okay, how can we get PvP in there? That's all. It's one of the most requested things. Pretty much in any MMO that launches without PvP is when's the PvP. And so we sat down and started building that out, and it was so freaking fun. It just needed to be its own game. And so that's where kind of the start of it was. And from that point on, it's always just been this evolution. And as soon as we got something that we felt was good, we got it out there to see what people thought. And then we listened, we listened to what they said. We didn't just ask what they said. It's really easy to kind of think you have the answers for your game. And that's rarely the case. And so once we heard what they want, what people were missing, and what they wanted, we made that first big change. And then we've basically just been doing the same version of that throughout all of the stages, which is, we kind of put out what we think is the right thing, listen to what people think about it, and adjust our plan from there. And that's one of the reasons we chose free-to-play, is it lets us continually evolve the game. And it's a thing that I always say should be really frightening as a designer, where in free-to-play you are forced to listen to the customers. You have to, because you have to constantly keep people engaged and excited about what's going on in your game, or people leave.
Right.
And then, so you don't have that initial box sale. So it should be terrifying, but I love it. It's so good, because it means we really do have to pay attention. We're not just, we're not just saying, oh, cool, we're listening, your feedback is important. it's critical. The player feedback is what makes the game. So, every time we put something out, we are always right there, listening to what people are saying, and seeing what we have to do to change it to meet expectations.
Awesome.
Just like a tiny example of that was we finally added the white and the black color schemes, which were, they're sort of high-level prestige items that you get for big amounts of gold in game, and we added them. And white and black are really hard to get right coloring-wise, because if you just do pure white or pure black, it actually doesn't look right. And so they had, the whites had some yellows in it, some sort of off-whites, and the blacks had a bunch of purples in it. But the feedback from players was, well, when I invest this much and I get a white color scheme or a black color scheme and I put it on my character, that's not what I expect it to look like. I expect it to be, full-on white or full-on black.
Right.
So we had to kind of go back and sort of rethink those and kind of go from ground up on them again. And we made a really big change, and now they're much more in line with what players are expecting. So
this kind of actually, someone asked this in the chat, and yes, chat, we're paying attention, so if you guys have questions, they may be asked. Someone asked if there was ever, like, a disappointing change that you guys had, like something that it made sense, but, like, your team was like, we really want this, but it makes sense that we can't have it. Like, was there ever a time, or do you feel pretty happy with your changes?
Let me see if I can come up with one. In general, we are really happy with all the changes that we put in. Part of that is because, as a game designer, one of the things that I always say, or as a game developer, and all of us are designers at the company. We're so small, everybody kind of does everything. One of the things that I always say is, your job is never to come up with the best idea. Your job is to identify the best idea and then implement it in the game. So even choices that we wouldn't have made at the beginning, we come back to and we wind up loving them because we take that idea, we find what it is wherever we got the inspiration, whether it was from somebody else on the team or whether it was a player that suggested it, and then we craft it into something that is what is right for the game. Mm-hmm. So ultimately, you wind up liking those answers. We really liked the sort of weapon crate thing, and we're sort of hesitant and kind of scared to move away from that model because that was kind of what the core of the game was. And so it wasn't... the end result is fantastic. I wouldn't trade it for the world. This is so much better than what we were planning. But at the time, it was a thing where we really had to... It was a pretty big, serious change for us to make. Part of that is because it just shifted the balance, so it wasn't, you couldn't think of the weapons as totally the character anymore, so you had to kind of like change your brain and how you think about it. So it's, I don't know, this is really kind of a long answer. I don't even know if I really answered it, but trying to think if I can come up with another specific. Well, for me, like personally, the white color scheme, I always kind of bias to off-white colors with sort of golds in them when I like that sort of color scheme. So I liked the old one a little bit better. So maybe that's an example, just kind of on a personal level. But again, still is the right decision because it just wasn't matching up what most people wanted.
Sure. Okay. No, I mean you're right. That's a change your fans want to see, and it worked. Mm-hmm. Worked very well.
Yeah. So and that's again, I'm really not trying to cop out of that answer, but at the end of the day, what we're making is something for the community, and so what winds up being the right answer for the community is what we get excited about.
Sure, definitely.
Sure. So, but on the kind of long development with focusing on the community, that's a very new sort of process. I feel like for game developers, we're seeing a lot more of these large beta type games with very long kind of community pieces to them. Is that a big change for you as a developer who has a history in more traditional kind of development cycles? How are you and the team kind of figuring out this new world?
Yeah, well, it is. I mean, it is all a new world. You do figure it out as you go. I think it's been pretty gradual. I think on each of the big titles that I worked on before coming here, they progressively had longer and longer closed betas, open betas, and involved more community interaction. It's just kind of a thing that you can do now. And so if you do it right and you kind of get out of the old model, it works really, really well. one of the things I always bring up how much I love doing our Twitch stream, and
Yeah.
the reason we love the Twitch stream is the same reason that people love watching Twitch. You get immediate feedback and interaction with the community when you're doing Twitch, and that's something that has never existed before until recently for game design, right? You could go to forums. Forums were a really good step, and you'd leave a message and come back and see somebody else's message, and go back and forth that way. But it is brand new that we can have a change for the game, come on stream, show it to somebody, say, like, here's what we did, here's why we did it, what do you think? You're watching it right now, what do you think? And get immediate feedback. And so, things like that have made it possible to do this kind of new model where you involve everybody.
Sure.
Also, I'm very biased because all the games that I've worked on are online community-based games. So even more so than other games, it is critical that you actually listen to the player base for that.
Right. Yeah. It's a bigger deal if your players aren't playing.
Right.
Like commercial game.
Can we take
And they're on. Yeah.
Oh, I was saying, can we take a step back and just kind of talk about the dev streams really quick for everyone who maybe doesn't know about them?
Yeah.
Because, obviously you've been doing this for a while, and the viewers have been about 100 people per stream, but now with open beta, it does seem like more people are coming to Twitch or watching these streams. So what can someone expect each week on Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time to see when they come to Brawlhalla?
So that's Tuesday is our dev stream, and that's where we get on and we show you what we're doing behind the scenes. One of the things that it sort of grew into, it didn't start there. It started with us going, okay, Twitch is great. We need to do something on Twitch. And we need to just do it now, because if we wait to figure out the perfect thing, we'll never be perfect, we'll never be ready, and we won't do it. So we just started streaming. And what it turned into was, here's a place where we can, instead of going on the forums and saying, here's what's coming next, or, oh, you're interested in that feature, don't worry, we're working on it, is a place where we could show that stuff before it was ready for prime time.
Right.
So we kind of make a blanket statement, which is, we'll answer questions, we're going to tell you what's going on or what we think. It might be wrong, it might be different later because game development changes a lot.
Everything is subject to change.
Yeah, but instead of only revealing things when they are 100% certain, now we can show stuff off as it's happening. And so we'll preview characters, we'll show new game modes. Before we added 8-player custom games, we were showing internal office 8-player games. And so it's just a place where we can, instead of just saying, okay, it's coming, just wait, it'll be live soon, we can actually show the cool stuff that we're doing. And we try to get everybody involved. When we show characters, we'll show the sketch process, and we'll get some of our character artists, Dave comes on an awful lot. Oddling is what his nickname is. But he'll come on and he'll sort of talk about what he was thinking about and what different inspirations we came from. And so we really just kind of try to get to know people, show them what we're working on. And again, that instant feedback is awesome, because instead of having to finish a feature and put it out and see what people think, we can kind of gauge the water while we're working on that feature of what people are liking and not liking, and sort of adjust and adapt even before we're actually done with it.
So, and I like to joke about this too. I've noticed with your streams, usually when you show off a new legend, it takes about a month before that legend drops.
Sure.
So, I mean, you did make this promise, and I'll reiterate it. Not so much a promise, but you said you were going to drop a legend about once a month, with weapons maybe, I put this number in, but every 6 months, obviously longer. Legends will be shorter, they'll be longer. Yeah. And so the next one that's coming up, and maybe we can talk a little bit about it, but you're going to be showing her off on Tuesday, but Miss Whatbow, the Ranger.
That's right. Yep, the Ranger. That was a long-standing joke, because somebody had gone through the files and found the bow that we were working on, and people were like, oh, when is that going in? And we just kind of adopted the what bow.
Is this the same person that found the wolf today?
What wolf?
What wolf?
No, good. The new one.
I don't know.
How long has the bow been a joke? It's been going for a while, I feel like.
I think it's like 2 months.
For a long time.
Or I saw them post it 2 months ago.
It's been a lot longer than 2 months.
Yeah.
So the bow in particular, a lot of times when we develop a weapon, when we develop a new weapon, we're looking at how, not necessarily how risky is it going to be, but how much time is it going to take to do it right. And so the bow was one of those that we knew we were going to be working on for a long time, because it's a melee-based game, and so getting a bow that feels good to use in a melee-based game, but still feels like a bow and is exciting and scratches that itch when you're like, oh, I want to play an archer, is really challenging. And so it went through, I'd say, probably 4 completely different directions before we found the one that we're happy with. Everything from it is actually shooting all the way across the stream to it's mostly actually like melee based and doing hand-to-hand combos and then finishing with arrows. And so it just took a really long time to get it to feel good and match expectations. So we knew that we were going to be, it was going to be a while before people could actually start seeing the bow. But not all of our weapons are like that. The axe, we had a really strong idea for what the axe was going to be like when we went into it. And that one went pretty smoothly. It's a lot more straightforward than the bow. The rocket lance is another. We just made up a weapon. We're like, what would be cool? Well,
it is probably one of the craziest weapons that I do enjoy is the rocket lance.
Yeah.
Just the concept.
In the face with it.
Yeah, I know.
So
I love it.
We'll do more weapons like that too, where it's doesn't exist anywhere but Brawlhalla.
And I think what people don't understand about weapons too, or maybe like a lot of people are aware of this, but the way that the legends are set up is no 2 legends have the same combo of weapons, of 2 weapons.
That's right.
And so what really got me the first time I asked this, and I think actually Dave was the one that we interviewed at RTX when we played this, was just every time you add a new weapon, that's like exponentially just more legends that are going to show up as well. So it's like the new bow is going to add, there's going to be a bow sword, bow rocket lance, like so on and so forth.
Yeah,
which is just, eventually, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, there's probably, at some point, you get so many different options that you don't have to do the ones that maybe are a little bit forced. So it's really interesting. One of the biggest problems that we face, nice catch.
And
one of the biggest problems that we have is figuring out which of the cool ideas we're gonna do.
Right. Yeah, what do you dedicate your time to?
There's so many things. There's just so many. And then we also have to pick a weapon pairing opportunity, right? It's pretty easy for us to say, okay, bow katars, katars are 2 light blades that are really fast. Bow katars, well, that's a ranger. And let's be honest, our first bow character, that should be an elf. So that one's kind of easy. It just sort of falls into place. Some of the combos are a little bit stranger. We did axe pistol. Took us a little while to figure out who would use battle axe would also be in a position to use blasters.
Yeah, what would use that combination?
It's not kind of a natural combination.
Who has that combo?
That's Frasa, the post-apocalyptic guy.
The new one, yeah.
Yeah, eventually we were like, oh, wait, we know exactly who would use that. And then it all just sort of fell into place.
Was that one inspired by Mad Max? I have to ask.
Oh, for certain, a lot of it. Yeah. There's a bunch of post-apocalyptic juices that go into him, but definitely that movie is absolutely freaking incredible. The whole series, but the latest one is just, oh man. So there was a lot of that floating around when we were talking about, okay, what should he be like? And we had to find the right mixture for him, and then we're deciding like, okay, well, is he sort of the lone wanderer, sort of anti-hero kind of guy, or is he going to be a bad guy? Okay, he's going to be a bad guy. Okay, well, what kind of bad guy? Is he going to be just completely insane, or is he going to be, one of the sort of the thugs that there's a bunch of, or is he going to be like the bad guy? And so you go through that sort of whole design process.
And that's something great about Brawlhalla too, is you guys have a whole lore behind all of these characters that from the surface you wouldn't even think would be from the surface, it just looks like, oh, we're a brawler and this is it, and here are the characters. You have a Minotaur and a guy in a wolf costume, but there's a whole backstory to everybody. It's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. We try to make sure that everybody fits. We put a lot of thought into the lore, and it's one of those things that the game is not necessarily about the lore and it's not about the story, but when you have a good structure for that, the game hangs together better. So when you have all these disparate characters, and we want to hit every kind of character we can. If there's a character that you like, we want to get that kind of character in the game. And so how you hang all this together is actually really tricky. And so we try to, we walk this kind of fine line of, well, how humorous is it? Because obviously it's a pretty lighthearted and fun game. How serious is it? But there's actual kind of rules and structures, and then we get good opportunities, like when we did Bryn. Bryn is our half Valkyrie, and so all of this it's in Brawlhalla, but we decided that's bigger than just Norse, right? If you're getting all the best and baddest warriors, why would you just limit to one section? And so then we start kind of explaining some of the weirder stuff, and Bryn was a great piece of that puzzle for us because she wound up coming out as half Valkyrie, half human. We figured, well, she's going to think different. She's got a different place than the other Valkyries do, and she's got to kind of prove that she's a good Valkyrie. But then she's also going and grabbing stuff like the Minotaur, which the other Valkyries are kind of not. They're like, well, that's not the kind of person that we recruit. And she's like, well, why not? This guy's awesome.
Yeah.
And so she's kind of like this rogue element that winds up getting connected with a bunch of the other characters because she kind of finds these sort of oddballs and brings them in. But all that kind of stuff, making sure it all fits together, just makes everything feel better. So we spend a lot of time trying to make sure it all is right and is the right level of funny. We go through a lot of really bad jokes.
All the puns. You talked about a pun, I think. That you guys really... What was the pun that you were talking about on stream for a character?
Me?
I don't remember who it was, but there were like a bunch of puns of like failed costumes or failed skins that were all just pun-based that are just never going to happen.
Oh, yeah. So we had like... originally Roland was called Hotspur, and so one of the skins was just called Potspur, and it was like him just wearing like pots and pans. There's a lot of stuff like that you have to get through in the creative process to find the good stuff. Otherwise, you just wind up with like the safe things. And so we try some pretty weird stuff before we.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna do a quick raffle in the Twitch chat.
I was gonna say we should probably do that.
Yeah, this raffle is for the newly announced community colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press enter. It's going to be raffle enable. All I have to do is !raffle to enter in. And after this game, we'll most likely roll it. So clicking it right now. There it is.
I saw Terminal Plantain and the NATO are talking about lore referencing multiple characters named Von Evilstein. Is it multiple characters? Or is it one Von Evilstein? Who knows?
Isn't there like a romance too that's going down? People are like, when's this romance going to happen? When are these two going to totally hook up?
People say that a lot about a lot of characters in the game. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's in the lore.
Right.
So Zeke, who's your OTP for Brawlhalla then?
Oh.
So I think my favorite has always been Queen Nai. From the beginning, I just love the way she looks. I love her story. She's not good, she's not bad, she's sort of this neutral party, but really powerful. I love that it kind of brings this whole other pantheon of gods into play. And I just think she looks wicked cool. I can't play her for crap, though. It's really sad.
Yeah, she's not one of my favorites to play.
She's got a love-hate relationship in the community. A lot of people don't like her.
Yeah, so that's an example of something where originally she was hammer and blasters, again, because we didn't have a spear at that point, and so some of those combinations are a little bit harder to think about or explain, and we were kind of thinking, well, maybe sort of magic wands could be blasters, and that's a thing where, the community was like, what? No, why does she have blasters? It doesn't make any sense. And so we retooled her completely. Now she has katars and spears, neither of which existed when we first were making her. But that's the kind of thing, like in the beginning, I was great with her. Hammer, no problem, blasters, got it, we're working it. And then, she went to spears. I'm rocking with spears, I like spears. but then the katars, I just can't get the hang of katars. Just can't do it. They're good. I just can't use them. And so then I was like, oh, I guess I just have to, I have to think she's awesome from afar.
All right, I was just showing off the colors a little bit.
How do we end this?
Wait, do you not want to? Well, I'm doing one more. We're going to play a game, and then we'll do it.
Oh, okay.
You just do exclamation point winner, and it'll automatically draw. This is Cobot. Cobot?
Yeah,
right.
Dirk tries playing and talking at the same time is wicked hard.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
So
it also doesn't help that if, like, for me, being awful at the game, trying to talk and be bad is not going great.
So let's talk about something easy, I guess. This is on my list after Legends, but skins. You first have all this lore and everything, and then suddenly you add these new skins that turns, for example, Nash into like Team Spirit Nash, which is my favorite skin at this point because it's so hilarious.
That's good.
But I mean, most skins were just like a little bit extra stuff, but like Asuri's skin does her whole face changes because it's a lynx, and I just got wrecked. But let's talk about maybe the skin process and maybe some hints at potential future skins, if you can do so.
Sure.
No is also an okay answer?
Oh, no. I'll answer all sorts of questions. I'm basically a walking AMA.
Awesome. You heard that, chat.
And I also don't mind just saying no if it's something that I can't answer. But our skin process, we do a lot of crazy stuff for skins. Like when we were talking the kind of pots and pans, that's a great example. Like of sort of how far we go. We wind up thinking about a character, and there winds up being sort of obvious skins sometimes. Like usually there's one or two skins where you're like, okay, you just have to do that one. Just like it's super clear. When we thought when we have a cat character, it's like, okay, well, we need a cat burglar skin. That just has to happen. We can't have a cat character and not have a cat burglar skin when it sort of matches her theme. But then the character artists really push themselves to come up with a bunch of different designs, even when we know that most of them aren't ever going to see the light of day. And they do that so that we can find these sort of gems. Now, the Lynx was kind of a different story. That was when we were looking for the base design of the character. There were a couple different cat directions that the artist went in. And when we showed the sketches for her, story-wise and lore-wise, it was pretty important that she was a tiger. She's kind of from the jungles of India, and it just kind of all fits together. But one of the directions was very lynx-like, and when the community saw the sketches for the character, a good section of the community really latched onto the lynx and just loved the way it looked. And so when we were doing the skins and deciding what we needed to do, we were like, okay, well, a lot of people really like that skin, and it's pretty different than what her base character is, but it's still within, it still makes sense. You don't look at it and wonder why she's suddenly a lynx. And so since it made sense and the community liked it, it was like, okay, well, this is a thing we definitely are going to do. Oh, I just got wrecked on the edge. So that's kind of an example where, again, like the community involvement is so important. And then we have there's an essence to the character, and we try to make sure that we are somehow staying in bounds to that. And it's kind of gray. It's not like we've got this sort of formula that you can work out. Nash is a very serious character. He's a very grizzled and outdoorsy, hardened kind of guy.
That likes to go to football games?
But he's got this really goofy skin. But if you look at it, sort of the shape of it and how the skin is fashioned is actually really close to his base skin, right?
Right.
So it diverges from his character quite a bit, but it doesn't really diverge from his silhouette and his look. So that's kind of okay. You can kind of go, you sort of are judging if it diverges completely from character and then it also diverges completely from silhouette and look, maybe that doesn't make sense. Maybe that's not something that we should do.
Yeah, you don't want to lose the character too much.
Right, but if it's going hard in one direction or the other, that kind of winds up being okay. And then we have ones that at first glance don't make sense at all, we've got Bodvar has the Bairdvar skin.
My favorite.
Which, aside from being a pun, whoops. Oh no. Yeah. I wish I had a.
Did you just taunt? Was he taunt?
It was a little bad manners. He was giving a salute and I just kind of did the down smash and
took advantage of the situation.
A little bit. I was talking. I'm gonna blame it on the talking.
Exactly.
Okay,
yeah, you can't be nice while you're talking and playing.
That's right.
You only can be nice. Yeah, you only can be nice on stream or in the game.
That's right.
Absolutely right.
But so Bairdvar, aside from being a pun, it's pretty different, right? He goes from a Viking to having like a bear torso and a bear head, but it's because like in his lore he's actually half bear. His father was actually a bear. It's this kind of weird Norse mythology story, and he fights his brother as a bear, and he chooses the human side, and his brother chooses the bear side, and they have this big conflict. So even though it looks totally different, it actually meshes with the story really, really well. So we do that kind of thing too. Mostly, though, we just try to come up with really awesome, cool skins. There's just kind of a long process to get there.
Okay. So while we wrap up do the raffle, guys, this game is free to play right now, which means that with all the people watching, you're more than welcome to jump in the game. I just upped it to 8 people, so it's going to be a little chaotic, but you guys can jump in the lobby. Room number is 14089.
Yeah.
Please come
and I'm
join
gonna sit
us.
out because I'm done getting my face rocked for one night.
You kind of go numb to it after a while. It's okay. You get.
Just in time for 8-player chaos, which I changed it to actually points time mode. So it's gonna be a fun game. So,
right, so I'm gonna hit winner on the raffle first.
You do ! Raffle winner.
Oh, raffle winner.
So
yeah.
The NATO was asking if we have a rule against duplicate weapon pairings, and we do. Each character has a unique weapon pairing. And so it's really, we think really hard when we get a pairing. We're like, oh, okay, what are all the different characters that could make sense for this pairing? We have to think about, well, what's the best pairing? What's just the coolest one? What should they really be? And then also, well, are there any characters that just couldn't be anything but this pairing? And then does that outweigh having a really cool one that could maybe be on different weapons? And, it's a tricky process to figure it out. Sometimes you get like, we want to do a Minotaur character. Hey, we haven't done an Axe Hammer character yet. We're done. Like, we're already working on this. Let's just go. Sometimes it's really easy. The bow characters in particular are very contentious because there's so many different cool types of heroes that use bows that finding the one that uses, what is the exact right combination for this one? And okay, that's really cool, but that kind of character, they could use a couple different things. Like if you're talking about the Elven Ranger, like, okay, well, the Katars and the bow, that makes total sense for a Ranger. You got the two-handed light weapon thing going, that makes sense. Could also have been a sword. Rangers with swords, that's totally a thing. Could have been a sword. But then we start looking at like, well, who else uses bow and sword? No, that person has to have a bow and sword. Couldn't have Katars. So move that person over to this slot, use the Ranger in the Katar slot, and it gets really tricky.
Fisher
but then,
out of the lobby.
And then you were talking about having all the different weapon combos, and one of the things that I was saying is it scales geometrically, and then you get but we start getting the flexibility to not do the pairings that are forced. Like the original pairing that we found a slightly better mix for Nye. Nye was hammer blasters at one point, which is Cassidy now, which is kind of strange for a cowgirl until we hit the sort of railroad spike hammer aesthetic. It was like, okay. No, the rope is great.
The grab, perfect.
Yeah, that move's great. But once we get more and more weapons, maybe we don't do this one particular combo for a long time, or, maybe we don't need that combo at all. We have to look at, do you get that style of gameplay with another combo of weapons? And are we really just pushing the bounds on what kind of character we're doing? And we just get more flexible the more weapons that get added to the system.
So some weapons like the Katars, you have a little flexibility too in the look. So you have like actual blades versus the cat claws.
Yep.
The bow, can you see it potentially becoming like a crossbow, or is that enough of like a change of how it would work that you think maybe it'd be two actual weapons?
So that we're not sure about.
Mm-hmm.
We have a character coming up where we will be discovering that, I think.
Oh,
It's a little ways. Don't get too excited. It's a little ways off before that
just got
character
there.
really starts rolling. But that one's really tricky. So we actually talk about that a lot. Like the Qatar and the claws. That's a great example of something that is more complicated than you think, because the Qatar has blades on the sides, right? And so it's really cutting like this or punching. And a claw really is coming down and has blades on the underside, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so really, the punches make sense, but really it should be doing kind of this thing. And so we sort of pushed it a little bit. That's kind of the edge of our comfort zone on doing
Okay.
different weapons. Um, but that's the kind of thing that we look at a lot. We're like, well, I don't think we're ever really going to have something that is as different as a Qatar, or as similar as a Qatar, like claws, so that we're going to separate those two weapons out. And when we look at it, okay, it does actually kind of, they kind of work, they kind of make sense. We went through a similar thing when we were first making the hammer. A lot of the weapon skins for the hammer early on were axes, like big heavy axes. And if you think about it, it can work. It doesn't look too weird when a hammer and an axe do different things. But it got confusing. You lose the weapon identity, and then you lose the opportunity to sort of do the hammer in its own unique way, and then the axe in a totally different way. And so while they're both big two-handed weapons, they play totally differently. And so we're always kind of thinking like, okay, how do we switch that? I'd say blasters is another example of an early one, where the blasters function in several different ways, and it's not perfect. So there's sometimes like where the effects make total sense, and sometimes where they don't really make much sense at all.
Like the cannon blasters?
Yeah, like Lucian uses black powder pistols, but all the sounds and effects are kind of more like a modern firearm. And then Vrax and Ada use ray guns basically, and so it works, but we do get a lot of like, well, how come these sounds are like this for my character, and shouldn't they be more like this? And so that's again, that's kind of probably as far as we would go on that. Doing that in the future, maybe we would split those up a little bit more and have sort of do specifically a black powder, not necessarily pistols and blasters, but
Like
maybe
a
it would be a
shotgun
black
versus
powder.
pistols?
Yeah, like a black powder blunderbuss versus sort of ray gun blasters.
Right.
Right.
So
So,
it changes over time.
someone brought up a question too about like magic, like in that kind of
Yeah.
like that stuff that's not really a weapon, but like, hey, you have Merlin shows up and he's just shooting kind of, I guess, like guns, just blasts of like flares or whatever, good
Yep.
old.
So we talked about magic a lot, and there's a couple different things that we've discussed. If they wind up using like elemental magic, like fire and lightning and that kind of thing, it's going to be kind of difficult because there's only a few characters that really would match that perfectly.
Right.
Everybody else, you would be like, well, man, it would be way better if they were shooting flaming skulls instead of fireballs, or something like that.
Right.
But it's theoretically, it's possible. We might do that. We've also talked about, maybe if you can get the energy effects for the magic to be a little bit more generic, and then you are looking at whatever the central object is. So if you imagine you're doing like a magic projectile and it's got this sort of trailing energy glow, maybe the middle of it is either a skull or a talisman or a little fireball itself.
Right, like a magic missile that has customization just from the skins of the weapon.
The skin of the weapon would change, but it would still look kind of the same when you throw it. maybe we've talked about maybe Magic is really like a sort of staff wielding magician, and then you got pretty different looking staves that are all doing sort of similar effects when they're using them. So there's a lot of different ways you can approach it, and we talk about that stuff a lot because we want to do all these cool things. We just have to find the way that makes the most sense and is going to work for a wide variety of characters. And then we don't want to sort of paint ourselves into a corner with it, basically.
Okay, no, very cool. So how much time do we have you for? I probably should have asked that before we started. We're doing great.
Oh yeah, wow, we're doing. Yeah, I should. I can play another couple of games.
Okay.
Before I head out.
Cool. So let's see what else. I guess some other cool things. I guess we'll kind of show off the new. Like obviously 8v8 just happened, and we're gonna play some
4v4.
Oh yeah, 4v4 8v8. Sorry, 4v4 with
8-player
people.
4v4.
Yeah, there we go.
But we're throwing up some Brawlhalla, which was just asked for. So game types, like you have a football version, you have a basketball with bombs version.
Yeah.
Basketball.
Yeah, there's like fun little jokes you guys kind of tease about potential games. How do you what are you expecting in terms of expanding just game types that work? Like, do you see that's continuing?
Absolutely. That's the exciting thing about it being a free-to-play game and about the community driving where the game goes is I could give you a roadmap of what I think we're going to have 6 months from now, but ultimately it's going to be decided by the players and what they want to see.
Sure.
And we have a giant pile of weird, wacky game modes. And almost all of them were direct suggestions from the community. They were like, how about this kind of game? And then somebody was like, ooh, here's a giant list of crazy stuff. And we kind of tried almost all of it. And some of them are a little bit closer to actually maybe working. Some of them are pretty far from working. Brawl Ball.
Yep.
Brawl Ball.
You suddenly realize what we're playing.
Yeah. I'm going to get a lot quieter while we're playing Brawl Ball.
This is serious now, yeah.
Intense game.
Oh, what is he doing over there? You're stuck.
Which is one of the things that cracks us up. We made this as like just a fun little game mode. Ha ha ha. It makes people so salty, including me.
Oh, it's gone.
So, I'd say we've got at least half a dozen more game modes that are pretty well developed. Really, what we have to do is find the ones that hold up, because they have to do a nice score. So, a lot of them are very fun for a small little section of time. And if we had a game mode that was sort of like a Mario Party or something like that, that might be okay. But they don't hold up over large amounts of play like Brawl Ball does, right? Brawl Ball is kind of its own thing.
Where are you going down there?
Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. Nowhere.
I got distracted and I died.
But so the short answer is we will be continuing to add, since it's a live game and since it's all about what the community is excited about, we'll be adding game modes, we'll be adding characters, we'll be adding weapons, we'll be adding maps, everything that people want and that can think of, we get to keep working on until basically forever. We just get to keep developing. It's the best.
So Brawler Kart is confirmed?
Brawler Kart, yeah, exactly. Yeah, Brawler Kart confirmed.
Perfect.
New game.
That's what I've been waiting for.
That's okay. I think I confirmed Amiibos at some point in an interview before too. So, no, that's not real.
Has console support been something you guys have looked into at all?
Yep,
it seems like a game that's kind of built for it almost.
Yep, we are definitely going to be on console. We haven't said anything else about that, but yes.
That'll work. We'll take that.
That is a thing that people can expect.
Awesome.
Very cool.
I guess in terms of other stuff, I don't know, since we kind of only have a few games left, let's maybe talk about more of the future in terms of the immediate future of what you guys are doing. Something this Saturday, perhaps?
Oh, yeah. So Saturday is, we're doing a 24-hour stream. We're doing it for the Extra Life Game Day charity event, which, someone super awesome and nice brought to our attention and pushed us into looking into it. And
Wait, was that me?
It was you, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm really pumped about that. 24 hours for charity, watching you guys play Brawlhalla. Are you playing Brawlhalla the whole time, or?
No, not the whole time. No. We'll be coming back and forth into Brawlhalla, but we've got a pretty big list of multiplayer games that we all kind of got excited about and signed up for, and so yeah, it's gonna be us. That's why there's a couch back here, and we don't normally stream from a couch. But yeah, we are super excited for it. So it's gonna be. I don't remember what time it starts. I know Rathan is in chat. He'll know what time it actually starts on Saturday. But we're gonna be going 24 hours straight. We're gonna be mixing in and out different developers. And yeah, it's gonna be a lot
seeing
of fun.
the people that we don't normally see on stream.
That's right. Pretty much everybody was signing up for it. So there's people we haven't been able to get on stream directly before that are going to show up and play some games, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
So can we expect some surprises about the game too? Like potentially maybe like, hey, we're going to show off this cool stuff, or giveaways. We're going to give away this cool thing.
We will definitely be doing giveaways. Trying to think if we have anything in. Most of our stuff winds up going for the dev stream,
right?
So we kind of already have shown off most of the things that we've got coming up soon. This Tuesday is going to be a good one, though. Like you said, we will very likely be showing off more of the Ranger this Tuesday.
More of a finalized version of her as she's getting closer to drop.
Yep, I don't think we've shown any of her specials yet.
No, you did not. But you did drop that really cool thing on your Twitter of the Ranger just dominating hit after hit. Like, that was pretty nasty.
Yeah, I actually just kind of want all of our videos to end that way. Our open beta trailer actually ends that way too. If you watch it all the way till the end, I think a lot of people probably click out once they see the end slate come up. Keep watching. The Ranger pops up again.
She does.
Yeah, I was actually watching that I was doing a video, and I kind of was left it trailing in the corner of my eye, and I'm like, what? There's something else happening after the slate. It was super nice surprise.
Oh no! Blue's defense is solid.
You can thank Raven for that.
God, Brawlhalla is intense. I'm just
it is.
Staring at the screen.
It's a bad game to answer questions too.
Let me see other stuff. What's on my list that we didn't talk about?
I've got some Reddit questions.
Oh yes. So here's a great time.
Let me ask my Reddit questions. Thank you.
Well, I was gonna say here's a great time for viewers to also post questions, and we'll grab them after yours are done.
Oh yeah, sorry.
So yeah, excuse you.
Sorry.
Brawl Ball's just breaking up friendships.
I have the first question I have is, who is your favorite coworker, and why is it Chill Penguin X? This question came from Chill Penguin X on Reddit.
I wonder where that came from. Yeah. Well, clearly then it has to be Chill Penguin X.
Sorry, Raven.
Why is Chill Penguin X my favorite coworker? Because he sits next to me and he heard you ask that question. I think is the answer.
He's doing
I think
his
that'll
job.
be an acceptable answer.
Yeah.
He's doing his job and actually watching the community. So.
Yeah, it's to be honest, the whole team is freaking amazing. It's I know that's the lame answer, but it's a fantastic studio, and everybody here loves the game and works really, really hard to make it as good as we can. So it's a super fun place to work. And then yeah, Chill Penguin because he sits next to me.
That'll work. One of the questions also on here, more personal, is how does it feel to change position from a game like Neverwinter to an indie game like Brawlhalla?
Yeah, it's just a different puzzle to solve. And one of the things that I really like is I like collaboration, and I like being able to shift and basically have everybody involved in what's going on. And so working on a small team is something that I think I enjoy working on a small team a little bit bigger than a big team. I loved working at Cryptic. It was a fantastic company. The folks there are great, and I'm really happy and proud of the projects that I worked on. But it's a big company, and so there's a lot, when you're trying to do a thing on a game, it's not the kind of place where you could walk in the morning and be like, we should try X, and that's not even related to what you work on. Like if you're doing something in art, going in and saying, we should totally change this gameplay thing, let's do it. Whereas on a small team and on an indie team, that's absolutely what happens every single day. So it's, it's a shift. It's a big shift going from one style to the other. But it's something that I really, really like. It means that everybody kind of has a stake in kind of all the stuff that's going on, which can be challenging at times when things aren't, compartmentalized. Yeah, I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. But mostly, though, I like solving problems, and so kind of whatever the situation is that has problems that I need to go solve, I kind of dig on whether it's solving them on a large team or a small team. But I think ultimately I like having my hands on more of the project.
Yeah, as you said before, it's a small team. Everyone kind of switches around.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's a much better kind of working environment, for a project you're very passionate about, like Brawlhalla.
Yep. Yep.
So one of the other, I guess, the other kind of pat in the back question is, how did Brawlhalla manage to make such a friendly and welcoming community? Because they are the reason I get involved.
That's from the good old Milo, our friend Milo, over on Twitter.
Oh, Milo is the best too. Well,
Milo.
because we have people like Milo. That's the short answer. I mean,
that's exactly what Raiden said.
That's
exactly his answer.
Milo is great. I am so happy that the community is so nice and friendly and welcoming, especially when you're making competitive games, and especially I think competitive fighting games. You always can run the risk of the community being kind of running askew. I think that community has always been super important to us, and so we've always engaged with the community and talked and been as open as we could about what's going on, and I think that helps. But ultimately, it's the people that got attracted to the game and how they talk with each other that decided that. Mm-hmm. And we're super lucky and thrilled that the community is so fantastic.
And I think it helps, like, if you guys were listening to the stream, them talking about how much of an influence the community has. Like, that positive community influencing them, they creating a new game and designing around that kind of just continues to cycle through, and it encourages the community to stick around, to have fun. And I see this a lot, too, in your Twitch streams, is people just saying, like, whenever you acknowledge someone, it's like you make their day, because they're like, oh my God, the devs are acknowledging me and they're answering my questions, and I'm kind of learning more about it, and I feel like I'm part of something. And that's like a really big deal, and I think that's why people stick around.
Yeah, and they are. The community is totally part of what we're doing. And it's always kind of weird, like, when we see stuff like that, which is awesome, and I love it. But it's always kind of weird because we're just people, We're just people that we're lucky in that we have jobs that we love. But it's like, so when we get somebody that's like, oh yes, they totally paid attention and they listened, and that's so great. Well, yeah, I'm just a guy. There's nothing like, I don't know. It's kind of humbling, I think, or at least for me it is.
So on the question of Zeke the guy, what are you personally most excited about coming up, like game releases or even kind of movie releases, not Brawlhalla related?
Not Brawlhalla related. Oh. Okay. Boy, it's what I don't know how to pick. It's kind of blowing my mind right now. I mean, I'm really focused on open beta, which is good because I think I would be kind of going insane. I love Halo, so Halo 5 coming out is like crazy. I've been playing way too much Binding of Isaac, so
Oh, the new one?
Isaac, Afterbirth just launched, so my brain's exploding from that. I mean, Fallout, like it's just Battlefront, Star Wars coming out. Like I can't handle the number of games that are coming out right now.
Right.
Movies,
and be working full time, full tilt with open beta.
Yeah,
probably doesn't help.
No, well, that's the only thing that's saving my sanity is like I just kind of, can't do all of those games. So that's kind of saving me. Movie-wise, though, strangely enough, I think I'm kind of good because I think that Fury Road kind of ruined movies for me for a while.
Oh.
It just spoiled you too much.
I remember going home after that movie, which I don't usually get to see movies in theaters. I have two little kids.
Of course.
When I saw that movie, I was like, yeah, oh my God, it's so good. I'm going to go home. I'm going to watch a movie. And I got home and I was like, what could I possibly watch? Like, to follow that up? I don't know. So now it's kind of like, yeah, movies are all right.
So I guess we'll go in the news portion of our podcast just because it came out movie-wise.
Briefly.
Are you a big fan of The Witcher? Zeke,
The Witcher?
Yeah.
I've never actually played The Witcher. I like it. Like, I like the art that's in it. I know.
Well,
I haven't played it.
They just announced that a movie's coming out on The Witcher.
Nice.
So that's why the only reason I asked. Okay, done with the news. Let's talk about Brawlhalla some more.
I like that style.
That's today's news.
That style of movie, so that definitely looks like something I'll be into.
Yeah. So I'm going to roll the raffle winner. Click.
Oh, yeah.
Action.
Winner one, Mutant
Chasm
Fish.
just like... Action Chasmer just disowned me, I think, for saying I'd never played The Witcher.
So Mutant Fish just won an
I'll
awesome
have
qualifying.
that. I'll take care of that.
Yeah.
Congrats, Mutant Fish.
Congrats. I guess otherwise, what is your favorite memory of just maybe not Brawlhalla itself, but just your boys over at the studio? Just your favorite memory of all those guys just being a dev for Brawlhalla. Maybe about the game, maybe about something that happened outside of the game. I don't know. Or it doesn't have to be the first one. Maybe there's a few.
No, yeah, it doesn't. Well, it's not going to be the first one because the one that's like super strong in my head right now is just, we all went out for dinner and beers after we had opened, and that was just, fantastic. We were, we're super nerds, so we're out for dinner and beer and playing card game on the side. I think somebody was a group of people playing Love Letter, and that was fantastic. But that one's just so recent, is why. I think that if I really think about it, the time that was kind of one of the best was PAX South last year. Was the first convention that we did when we were in closed beta, and we took the whole team and we Airbnb'd a house that was on the wrong side of the tracks, and some of us think it was maybe haunted, and we had cabbies telling us it was haunted, and it's just this whole story. We were up until 4 a.m. stickering the MetaDev Orion cards up to hand out to people at the convention, and it was just, everybody was there. We were all in on the game. We knew that if we could get it in the hands of people, they would enjoy it and have fun playing it, and it's exactly what happened. And so that whole scenario, just everybody being able to share that, be there all at one time, is kind of, again, we're talking about the small teams, and that's sort of the thing that you don't get on the big teams. There's a section of people that go to those conventions and get to see people's reactions to playing it in person, but you never get to do it with the whole team all at once. And so that was really, really, really cool, despite the ghosts.
Yeah. Despite the ghosts.
Well, maybe the ghosts were on your team that night too.
Maybe.
Narahil in the chat wants to hear why you guys thought it was haunted.
The cab driver.
I also kind of want to as well.
Oh, I mean, what was
it was on? Cab driver, I wasn't in this cab. The cabs that I were in were mostly like, how did you guys find this house? So we got a lot of that. But the cab driver was like explaining the neighborhood as they were getting closer, and he was like, oh, that neighborhood. Oh, wow, you guys are, well, there's a haunted house there. You guys you're not by the lake, are you? And they're like, yeah, we're by the lake. They're like, well, you're not in the house with like the wrought iron fence out front, are you? And like, yeah, we got a wrought iron fence. And they're like, well, not the one on the corner though, right? Yeah, on the corner. Like, oh man, that place is haunted. Like, yeah. And then we found, yeah, it was good. It was good. We found like on the backs of there was like Latin on the backs of the pictures, kind of written out like in the frame. And some people just claim it was like, hey, grandma, how you doing? Here's a picture. But we'll never know because nobody read it because we're not that dumb.
This sounds like a good legend that you guys can include in the game.
Basically it is. And that's so it's kind of all of that added up with the fact that we were all there and we were all there together, and it was the first time we were showing the game like way out in front, so that people could just kind of walk up and play it. At that time was just fantastic. It was super, super good. And it led to us doing all the other conventions after that.
And your presence at conventions is amazing. I think my first interaction with the game was actually at RTX this past year. That was past month or so. And Sarah can attest, I played the first kind of thing we did on the floor. I think played Brawlhalla, and then every time we walked by it for the rest of the convention was, you want to play another game of Brawlhalla?
It's like we need to interview.
Let's get one more in.
Yeah, we can get one more in. No big deal. Oh, that catch.
It shows so well. That's what we got kind of lucky with was, it's the kind of game that we built. You can just pick it up, and even if you don't know everything that's going on, you can just pick it up and play it, and you have fun. Mm-hmm. So anytime we can get to a convention, anytime we can be there and just hand the controller to people. That's the hardest part of working those conventions. Is, just sometimes you gotta like, hey, you don't have a controller in your hand. Let me fix that. That's the hardest we have to do. So it's a pretty fun time.
So what's next for convention circuit? Are you guys still out, touring it, or are you guys taking a break with open beta?
No, we'll go right back into PAX South. I think is the next one. So yeah, we plan on doing kind of the same circuit that we did this time. So all of the PAXs plus RTX. I don't know if we'll make it to E3 this year like we did last year. We had a very small presence at E3 last year, mostly with partners. Well, entirely with partners. So I don't know if we'll be able to do that again this year or not. But yeah, we'll be at PAX South, PAX East, PAX Prime, RTX. We'll make the circuit again. We love it. We don't want to not do it.
And so I guess too, like with that, is that you guys have been kind of building up your tournament presence, both with like the big streamer tournaments where you're creating the new skin for who's this?
Northern Lion.
Northern Lion.
The first winner of that. Yep.
So is that you're gonna continue kind of working with partners and like streamers and doing those kind of things along with the actual official tournaments like you did last weekend, or was it 2 weekends ago?
We did well. So one of the things that's really amazing is all of that tournament drive is coming from the community. So we are facilitating, we're helping it. We didn't run that the big tournament, the $1,500 land battle tournament. Yeah, we didn't run that. That was run by fans, and so we helped and we chipped in. We chipped in to host it and cast it and all of that, but it was all organized and driven and funded by the community. And so we keep trying to, encourage it and throw gasoline on it and help the fire catch. But the drive is coming from the community, which is awesome. We weren't sure that was going to happen, and we love that it's happening. And we're going to be doing more and more and more of that as it goes. So it's something that we're going to be ramping up for sure. We got some pretty cool ideas, I think.
Yeah, I think I played it with a few streamers a few days ago, and it's always, like you said, with putting the keyboard in, getting people to play it, and then getting attention. Is just people playing it. Now being in open beta, I'm seeing more people streaming it and being like, it's my first time, I kind of suck, but it's a great game,
Yeah.
And so it's slowly kind of building, and now that it's open and more people can access it, I think I can see it continuing and people kind of continuing to be a part of that, getting into the ranked battles, getting into everything like that. So
we certainly hope so.
Yeah.
We think it's got a pretty good shot, so. Yeah.
All right, you want to do one more?
Okay, we'll do one more.
Which one do you want? This is your call.
Let's just do a 8-player stock.
8-player stock?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That way we can show off the community colors one more time.
Oh, I'm not going to do random then. Let's see.
You gotta pick.
I gotta pick some community colors.
I'll actually jump in for a game.
Well, I pre-selected the community colors, I think, on everybody so I could do random.
Oh.
So you're already you were showing them off on Tuesday. I think you guys I think ran through almost everybody in terms of characters in that hour or so. So we got a good preview of it then.
Yeah. And they are for every single character with all their skins as well.
Yeah. So. Yeah, all the skins, all the characters. It's on everybody.
Did I start a new raffle? I think I did. I did.
Yeah, there's a new raffle going.
So this is the last raffle. We'll roll it at the end. We'll kind of go out with a bang, take care of business, get wrecked. You know how it goes.
Perfect.
Yeah. What? All those things? Huh?
Yeah, all at once.
I don't know. What do you want to say? I like asking this question. I want to ask it a lot. Zeke, what would you like to say to your community? Like, do you want to yell at them? Do you want to thank them?
No,
whatever,
huge thanks. Our community is the best. I mean, we talked about it already, but it's so friendly and welcoming. Our community has been, the community actually made a call out to itself that was like, hey, we're going to have a whole bunch of people coming in. Let's be super helpful and friendly, even if people don't like the game at first. Don't sort of jump on anybody for not liking the game. And that's awesome. That's not something you see very often, in my opinion. And they tell us when they think something isn't right, and they wait. They trust us to take a look at it and try to figure out where to go. Rip. And it's fantastic. The community for this game is just top notch.
What crash? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm doing great.
You crashed.
My game crashed. My game froze as soon as it started.
Oh, no, it's not.
Yeah, well,
it is not fine.
It's like as soon as she shows up, everyone's like, rip.
That's okay.
In the middle of the talk. It's like, great game, no issues. Oh, a few people had a crash, it looks like.
Just me. It's not me, though.
Getting too excited. Game got it too excited.
I'm doing all right.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. I'm okay, and then Zeke's okay. So yeah, kind of not half wrapping up, but so you guys obviously you have the streams on Tuesdays at 1 o'clock Eastern, right? Yeah, 1 o'clock Eastern. Yeah.
Yep, 1 p.m. Eastern. We also have started a Thursday stream too, so you can catch us twice a week. Thursday I don't think has a set time yet, but it's a little bit later in the afternoon than the Tuesday stream.
It's a little bit longer
today,
too.
like 3-ish.
Yeah, I think that's about where it'll settle out. And then we're doing the 24-hour stream this weekend, so come on out and watch us be really bad at other games. See, I'm excited because I'll have an excuse for playing other games, which, again, with the 2 little kids, I don't have a lot of time at home, so...
Do you guys have your donation link up yet? Like, are you actually raising money for that?
That is a Rathan question.
Rathan,
There's
do you...
a very good chance that we don't yet. Open beta was pretty all hands on deck.
That's fine. I figured we could pimp it. Because, I mean, people can donate before and after to the team in the stream.
Which we'll be better. We'll be better next year. We do the same thing. We learn each time we do stuff. We'll get into it earlier and better next year, I'm sure.
I think you'll learn the next day. You're gonna be like, it's like the
24 hours
blues
is a
after
long
that fact.
time.
Well, yeah, but then you like go into like post-stream depression, where you're just like, I miss it, but I'm so happy that it's done.
Yeah, you were turned on for well, that's the wrong word to use. Never mind. You were on point for 24 hours, and then suddenly not. I'm dead.
I guess it helps that you have a team though, because then it's like you have your night shift, and then you have like
You can roll around.
Yeah.
You can roll people in and out.
you can be like, look, my kids, I gotta feed them. Sorry, I'm gonna go sleep in my bed for 12 hours. No big deal. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
I kind of feel sorry for Rathan because I think like he wasn't being all like mean about signing people up for the empty spots.
Oh no.
So I feel like anything that's not covered, which is going to be the really late ones, is going to be like him.
The 1 a.m. streams are literally no one talking, one person sitting there just playing a game.
Yeah.
After dark. Yeah, it's just not like it'll just be Rathan just sitting there like, yeah, what bow?
Yeah.
What bow? Well, no, it's what wolf now. It's the
No, White Dragon?
It'll always be what bow. It'll always be what bow.
I think I saw a suggestion like on one of the streams was naming the first bow like what bow or the skin for it what bow.
But it's just an invisible bow.
I kind of like that suggestion. It's knocking around my head to see if we can find a way to do it. I kind of like that.
Just a missing
like immortalizing
skin.
that a little bit.
Error.
So where can people find Brawlhalla, and where can people find you, especially, I guess, on Twitter and whatnot?
So it's not too hard. Brawlhalla is Brawlhalla everywhere. So Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. It's always just Brawlhalla. I'm on Twitter with at Zeke Sparkes. The Sparks has an ES at the end.
We have it.
So,
it's right underneath you.
yeah.
Right below
Oh,
you.
perfect.
Yep.
See, at Zeke Sparkes.
There
You go. But that's mostly all the streaming that I do is through Brawlhalla, through that channel. My account on Twitch is just to like watch other people, and it used to just auto host Brawlhalla constantly, but that ends now, which is a great feature. But I wish I could pin it forever.
Very cool.
So, and then we're active on the Steam forums. We're out. There's a Reddit. There's a subreddit that's Brawlhalla. So we keep up with those a lot. There's we're not too hard to reach out to. And there's a whole lot of us, and we are all listening pretty much all the time, even if we can't always reply. But we try to be there and be really, really accessible. So come and tell us what you think.
Cool.
I'm just showing off the skins while you guys talk.
Oh,
perfect.
good.
Perfect. I like it.
Mostly just looking at skins I might buy.
Yeah,
that's
there you
half
go.
of it too. I just spent all my coins the other day on some skin. So.
Yeah. So, thank you so much, Zeke, for sitting down and talking to us tonight.
Yeah.
I know we went a little bit over, but I definitely appreciate it. I hope all the people in chat really enjoyed it. All your questions are asked. This is a lot of fun. If you guys want to see him, Zeke usually hosts. Well, you don't really haven't hosted the last few, but you're always.
I'm on most of the Tuesdays,
Yeah.
but not all of them. We rotate it around. So, but yeah, if you find the Tuesday streams, you'll find me more often than not. Yeah.
Right. So
Cool.
that's just follow Brawlhalla. Definitely check them out because you're gonna be shown off the new characters, like the first looks at the new characters, first look at all of the new options. They kind of like I don't know, you guys just do a really good job of just showing off your thought process. You're like, hey, we're thinking about
Good.
this, here's what's going on, and getting that, like you said, immediate feedback. One of the few guys, the devs that actually do that consistently, and just keep going. So make sure you follow them.
It really makes a difference for us. So yeah, come on out, check us out, let us know what you think, and give the game a try, and I hope you have fun. And thanks for having me. This has been a blast.
Of course, and this will be on. For anyone that missed it, we'll actually post this as well, so you can kind of get all the cool, awesome little hints and the big reveal that we showed at the beginning of the stream. That didn't happen.
Did we show a reveal?
No.
You're leading the people who've already watched it. Or...
No, I saw people come in later. They'll be like, "Oh shoot, I should watch it then, because then I'll know what Zeke likes to eat for lunch."
That's right. That's right.
That was the big reveal. Sorry, you got all the way here, but you already know that because you've watched it anyways.
So let's do that raffle. Let's do that last raffle. Oh, apparently there's 2,100 people currently in game.
Raffle.
Which is crazy.
Oh, good. We stayed up. We stayed. The peak stayed for a pretty long time. That's great.
2 piece and a biscuit.
Oh,
that is
man.
the best. That is the best Twitch name ever. That is by far the best Twitch name I've ever seen. Good job, 2 piece and a biscuit. Yeah, let me hang on to that one. So yeah, thank you for joining us, Zeke. You've been great. Check out Brawlhalla if you haven't already. If you, obviously, we have to plug ourselves. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, you can head over to youtube.com/glitchfeed and check that out with our daily glitch series. We do a daily news video every day, summing up the that day's gaming news, and every once in a while we'll be hosting a live GlitchFeed podcast. You can check out those when we do that, like the one you're watching right now.
Yeah, and let us know if you guys like this. Awesome. I don't know. Maybe we can hang out with Zeke again if it worked out well.
And also, let them know if you like the format, but just not me. That's fine too. Don't tank it just because I'm the person on it.
We'll get Tibris to show up.
Leave him out of it. Really just
there you go.
How did we
Tibris or Riot. Or if you just want it to be the triple Zeke show. The Zeke 1, Zeke 2, Zeke 3.
Yeah, but then I couldn't, I can actually kind of look down and wave and smile, but they would all be doing the same thing.
No, we can pre-record it so it's like you do the whole Brady Bunch. It'd work well.
Interact with yourself 3 times. I like this. We have to explore this. This could be good.
Just assume that there's somebody over on the side.
Yeah, just sit there for 20 minutes recording just you doing stuff and be like 20-minute podcast, but it's just you waving, sitting there reading a book.
Perfect.
So
I think
awesome.
that would get you negative viewers somehow.
All right, so make sure to give them a follow. Check them out on Twitch. Check them out on Twitter. Check them out on Steam. If you haven't played it yet, open up the game now. Check it out and play it. It's great. It's free to play. The only thing that you have to if you paid money for is the skins. Legends are all unlocked by coins, or you can pay $20 for Legends for Life. It's still $20?
Yep, it's $20 for now. Yeah, that'll go up over time, but for now it's $20. So it's a really good deal. That's any legend that we add to the game forever is automatically unlocked. So.
Yes, so definitely check it out.
Yeah,
cool.
All right, thank you guys so much. We'll say bye and wave for 10 seconds because OBS likes to cut us off. So.
Oh yeah. It does the same. Although we haven't learned to keep waving and smiling, and we always kind of just get clipped at the end.